Well, something I've heard about Andrew Lincoln is that he stays in his, because of course he's from here, he's from the United Kingdom,
Yes.
but he speaks in his American Rick Grimes accent the whole time. Is that true?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I think, and I think it's a smart move too. Lenny James, Morgan as well. They both do that, and Lauren to some degree, who plays Maggie, of course. You know, I think it's really difficult to seep into a voice. You know, to kind of turn it on and off. And I think they're really smart in just kind of easing into it, because most of the folks on our set and our crew, there's a lot of Southern accents there, so they just kind of feed off of that.
It's ever surreal that you ever hear like a slip of the British accent. You're like, who is this guy? I don't know this guy.
Occasionally.
It's funny when, because Norman and I talk every single day. Even at the end of each day, we sort of like do a little recap. So I'll call Andy, or Andy will call Norman, and most of his, I have to check to see if I have a message. Most of his messages to me, it's about a minute and a half, and the first minute is him singing, and then the next half, the rest of it is just him going, oh, great day, great day, great day. But he never leaves his accent. He's always stays from the minute he lands. So I'm gonna try to see if I have it, because it's his. And ironically, he has a really good voice, but when
that was going to be my next question. How is his singing voice?
Sucks. Oh, I'm not gonna be able to do it. Hold on, might not work. Hold on, I'm just gonna try to play it. Oh, here we go.
Nice.
Round of applause, come on.
So almost every day on the way home from work, he sings to me, and it's terrible. His voice is awful. But then one day on set, we were shooting the finale, and I had a guitar on set, and he picked it up and he was off to the side playing, and I'm like, you faker, you actually can play guitar and sing. He's like, yeah, I know, I was just doing that as a joke. So he leaves these horrible singing messages on my voicemail every day. Damn it.
I couldn't quite make out. What was he actually?
I don't know. He just makes stuff up.
Well, yeah, he's sort of staying in character then on set. Is there anyone else who stays in character the whole time?
I wouldn't say stay in character, I would just say in terms of his accent.
It'd be quite intense if he was Rick.
If he was Rick all the time, that would, yeah. He'd be at the lunch line, he'd flip the tray, pull the gun out. I hate mashed potatoes.
Is there anyone else on set who kind of keeps up that kind of level? I love the idea of, say, Denai Guerrera just being Michonne all day long. I'd love to believe that's true.
No, Denai's such a girly girl. It's really great.
Sure.
She really is. I mean, she's a beautiful woman. She's all about dresses and lipstick, and we go to the premieres and you see her and she's all dressed up. You're like, damn, you look great. Get rid of that crazy wig. But, no, it's for me. I've been on set every day for all 6 seasons, and it's fascinating to watch. And there are several reasons why the show is as successful as it is. And one of them is because of you guys, because of the passion that you guys bring to the show. And I think what makes me the most proud is we go to work every single day and we bring that same level of commitment and passion to the show. If you listen to the rest of that message, you would have been like, great day today, man, I just love the show. And we all come to work with that same desire to make it better. And this season's been by far the hardest season we've ever done, and it's certainly my favorite season. But it takes its toll on us, and in the end, it's worth it. It's worth it because we're putting ourselves out there for the show, we're putting ourselves out there for you guys. And when you guys get together Monday nights and watch the show and support the show, that's our payback for it, so it's really just amazing. So again, on behalf of everybody that's not here, because I know Steven and Lauren wanted to come, there's a bunch of people that would have loved to come, but we're still filming, we're still in the middle of shooting. We have another 6 weeks left. So I will, on behalf of the cast and the crew, thank you guys, of course, for watching the show.
You guys shoot in Atlanta, of course, which, I imagine you're actually quite isolated out there, kind of in a bubble. I mean, is it slightly surreal? What is it like when you get to come to events like this and you say, wow, people are watching this and they absolutely love it?
You know, the town where we film in, we've sort of taken over this town over the last 6 years. So if I go to the supermarket, they're like, Mr. Nictotero, here's a steak you like. And here's, like, everybody knows us because we sort of have taken over that community and we've actually made that town kind of famous. So we're not really that isolated. The show looks like it's much more isolated than it really is. But I think it's just people there, everybody in that town knows us because we're there 7 months out of the year.
I love the idea that Norman Reedus is the prankster on set. I mean, can you regale us with any stories of pranks?
Well, last year with the spaghetti scene, the infamous spaghetti scene, he just kept taking the spaghetti and throwing it at various crew members and you know, kind of just doing this type of deal. I mean, he's a goofy guy. He's great. I mean, everyone kind of has that sort of levity, you know, that is truly required. Otherwise, we do most of our own stunts too. So if you don't have that lightness and you're very tight all the time, that's when the injuries occur. So.
Well, that actually leads me quite neatly onto the next Twitter question, which is from Bradley Cox. And he says, who is the funniest person on set to be with and why?
Josh, I was talking to Josh McDermott on set and I commented to him as to how effortless his performance of Eugene looked. And his response was, well, I put very little effort into it anyway, that's why it looks that way. And then, let me think, there was one other one that was very funny in here.
All of his effort goes into his hair, maintaining that, of course.
It's a beast. That mullet is no joke.
And then there was one scene
on the show.
There was one scene we were shooting with Josh and Melissa, and Melissa could not keep a straight face. She just kept every time she would just look at Josh, she would just start laughing. It was on the porch of you were there. Anyway, you were there. I don't want to say what it is, but it was very funny because I would start rolling the camera, and then as the camera got to the actors, they were all trying to stop laughing. And they couldn't. Melissa kept turning away and walking the wrong direction. And I would be like, Melissa, you have to go this way. She couldn't stop laughing, so I made a joke to Josh about it. And Josh said, you know, she can't keep a straight face around me anytime, which means she's really a horrible actress. And I'm like, oh, yeah. But, so I write down all these goofy things, but Josh completely, every scene that he is, as soon as he becomes Eugene and he just stands there with that like weird thing that he does, you laugh at everything he says. There could be 5,000 zombies tearing someone apart and Eugene would walk into the scene and you'd start laughing because
Hi, thanks for being here, first of all.
Thanks, Joe.
I just wanted to know, now that you've moved away from Atlanta and you're nearer to Washington, D.C., are you going to get to see some winter walkers?
You know, I would love that. I feel like there's a fantastic opportunity. The trick is we still shoot in the summertime. So Scott Gimple and I have been toying with the idea of trying to find an opportunity to shoot like a one-off episode because I want to shoot. I actually wrote a story that was about a bunch of people that were trapped in a cabin, and there was like a pregnant woman and a family, and the cabin is completely surrounded by walkers, but they're all frozen. And they come out, and the woman's 9 months pregnant, and they look out, and the sun's shining on the walkers, and they're starting to thaw out. And they're like, okay, we got to move soon because this whole herd of zombies is going to be defrosted soon, and just keep walking. So we've talked about it a lot, hopefully.
Zombies on ice.
We'll do a Game of Thrones crossover for sure.
Even things that were in the comic book that didn't come to fruition. Greg, do you ever see that and go, I want to put that in an episode?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, in the comic book, it was Carl that killed Shane. And I remember when we got into season 2, I thought that we should have maintained that continuity of having Carl shoot Shane. And it ended up being a situation where Carl shot him as zombie Shane. But a lot of times, you know, I think Scott Gimple's pretty good about keeping us sort of honest in terms of the graphic novel. I've directed probably 3 episodes that were big from the comic book, like when they leave the prison and you think that Rick is dead in the house and Carl's off on his own. And I actually used panels from the comic book as reference, so I recreate frames from the comic book. But because some of our characters have shifted, it's a little trickier to do that, you know, with Herschel and Tyrese and Dale and Andrea. You know, some of those deaths were given to other people because those characters died in different ways. But, you know, we're pretty, I would say this season, we're pretty close to the graphic novel in a lot of ways. No, as a matter of fact, Scott and I have talked a lot about that this season because we'll never go into like Ray Harryhausen, Army of Darkness world because there has to be musculature that can make the skeletons move. So we try not to do a lot of like exposed bone. There's still some anatomy to it that will continue. But in regards to that, you know, this season we've done a lot of new sculptures where you see rib cages with like deformed lungs and liver hanging out, and just kind of making these things as putrid and as nasty as you can get.
Do you guys have a favourite walker from the
It's hard to say because, you know, I always throw in little tribute zombies that are zombies from other horror movies that I love. So I have a fondness for just putting those little in-jokes in for me, but it's hard to say because, again, aside from Bicycle Girl in the first episode, which was really the first one that kind of launched the show in that direction, there's so much to choose from, I wouldn't know where to.
Well Walker. For me, the Well Walker.
And the Well Walker came about ironically because when we were prepping season 2, all the writers took a field trip to my studio in Los Angeles, and we're just kind of walking around looking at all the creatures and all the things that we were building. And then like 2 hours later they left and they said, oh, one of the guys called me and said, hey, I have this great idea about this walker that's in this well and it's just in there for so long that when they pull it out with the rope, it just rips in half just from the weight of how waterlogged it was. So it was kind of fun that idea came about by just walking through our shop and seeing all the crazy stuff that we built.